Hello everyone, and welcome for this explanation of this video on the new launchpy release, which is the version 0.3.5. And here I will explain you the most important part of the release, and this part of the release is the capability to upload code directly through launchpy. So let's get started. And for that, I have opened a folder here where I have my configuration and my private key here. As usual, I think this is nothing new for you. And I will open the Jupyter Notebook here. So let's do a Jupyter Notebook. And I will start now with launchpy update 3.5, actually 0.3.5. So in this video, then we can directly check here always this case. So I will import launchpy as LP as usual. You can check that you are using the correct version by using the version again. And then once I'm ready to start, I will, as usual, use the import config file option to import my JSON file that contains the information required for me to do the connection to the Adobe Launch API. So now I'm ready to start. So I always try when I'm creating those to add something on top up here. And here I will have my admin capability. As you may have remember, starting some versions ago, I added this admin capability here, and this is created by doing LP admin. And this administration helps you to create or to retrieve the property. So get company ID, to get the company ID here. This is saved in an attribute of the admin instance that we have created. And we can use that attribute to retrieve the properties. So let's get to the properties. And it's admin get properties. And here again, admin, the attribute is obviously company ID. And here you have this. Now let's check how many of them there is. There is 9, and I have it open next tab so I can check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So perfect. And for this demonstration, I would like to take this data list 2. So you could check for the name of the properties, and you can check for different things to retrieve the correct object that is being returned. In my case, I know that it's coming, or in my case, in every case, I know it's always coming the same way than in the UI. So I will take the 0, 1, 2, 3, the third or the fourth elements, and the number 3 of the array. So before I'm doing that, I want to give you just a quick update that now in the admin you have an update property capability. Again, you can have the help function to give you more information on how to use that method, but then you can update your property if you want to change the way that your property is being set up, adding more a website or something like this. So in my case, I want to have the data2 properties, and it's going to be the data analyst 2, and I'm going to create an instance of the property class, and for that I'm going to take the properties, and if you remember, I said I'm going to take the fourth element, so the third or the 3. Then I'm going to do that, and normally I'm connected now, so I always like to do differentiation here to know where I'm going. So data2, I can check the name. Perfect. The ID won't make much sense. But now let's look into this property, and let's look at the rules. So I will go into the rule itself. So you know that this rule contains rule components. So here in this case, I have 3 rule components, 1, 2, 3. And I want to retrieve the custom code of those different elements here. And the goal of this video is to show you how to do the modification of the code directly in your editor, and then re-upload that directly into the launch interface. So I will ask for my rule component. So rule component with the S is going to be data2 get rule components with the S, and then you do that. It's going to be quite quick because there's a lot of them. I mean, not a lot of them actually. So I'm looking at, there is only 17, and I want to get the 3 that are inside my GCR event details. So I'm going to take that, and I'm gonna check for that. So I'm going to do a comprehensive list saying rule component for rule component in rule components. If my rule component, and here you can check rule name equals GCR event detail. So normally the rule components doesn't give you the rule name information, but in the case of my Python module, I give you that information in rule name. You have the same way from rule ID. In case you have your rule ID, it's rule here you can do ID. It's going to be the rule ID, but in my case, I want to have the rule name. And then, yeah, let's check it out. Let's check actually length, and I should have 3. 3 it is. And then I will get my rule component actions. They are going to be those. But also I want them to have, if you remember in my previous videos, I can show you that here in the delegate descriptor ID, I have those different elements. So I have core, this is a core extension, action, and then the custom code. And I could have Adobe Analytics actions or Adobe Analytics event, Adobe Analytics condition, and or core event, and so forth. So I'm going to take the core actions. I'm going to take the action ones. So this is the one that I've been tested. And so I will do, I want to have the rule component when the rule name is this one, and my condition is RC attributes delegate descriptor ID. Hop. And tuck. Okay. And this will give me the different conditions. So I am in that rule, and in that rule, I want to have only the action. So I should have only 2 if I have done that correctly, hopefully. I have only 2. So now you have, you need to download the code. And for doing that, there is already a function that is available to you directly, and it's in the launchpy application. It's extract settings. And by extract setting, you need to pass the different elements. So I'm going to do for my RC in RC actions, extract settings. I need to pass the component, so you can check which element you want. You need to pass the elements. You need to pass analytics code, Boolean. Let's see what it is. Save, and also encoding. Let's discuss a bit of them right now. So the analytics code, if you put that to false, then it's only extracting extracting the whole settings. But in Adobe Analytics, you have a configuration, so JSON settings that you can put, specifically data element match a specific eval, or you have your custom code. By setting it to true, as it is by default, then we only focus on the code. So what I mean by that is that I'm not going to download everything that has been done in this JSON configuration. I'm going to only extract this console log test here. And this is what is at the moment supported by this update of code. The other option is save. I think you can imagine what that does. So it's going to save my code into a file, and then I'm going to use the encoding I want. So I had a client that has Japanese characters in their code, so for some reason. And in that case, UTF-8, which is the default, were not supported. So some part of launchpy may use UTF-16, some part may use UTF-8. No, I'm trying to be consistent on UTF-8, and then you can change that to UTF-16 if you wish to have that. So in my case, I think it will be fine with using UTF-8 as encoding. So I will keep it this way. So the only thing I need to change now is save equals true. And I'm doing that. It took me 7 milliseconds. And if I'm looking in my folder, you can see I have two different elements that have been created. So those are from Adobe Analytics, and this is for the core custom code. So let's check for the custom code now. I'm opening my not favorite, but an editor that you all be aware of, or you should all know, is this Sublime text. But now I can actually do another one, console log core update Python. I'm changing, I'm doing whatever I want with my code. Let's do the same thing with Adobe Analytics just to prove that it's actually correct. Hop, and now it's going to be console log Python Adobe update. Okay, so you have done your change now. I think we all agree that it's a lot easier to do the change in your own environment, in your local environment, than you do your change here. You can rename. So in my case, the name are defined this way. So in case you have several action in the same several action in the same rule. Normally, you have only one type of action for Adobe Analytics. So if you have twice set variables, then obviously that will not work. And let me know if that's the case, then I will need to change this naming convention that I'm setting. But normally, this should help you know where this element is being from. So you have the name of the rule, then you know it's coming from an action and it's coming from your Adobe Analytics action, and then it's a set variable and the code settings. If you have here, it's coming from the same rule, it's coming also from an action, and it's going from the core, the custom code. So that's pretty obvious, and we can now update our new code directly to a launch. And for that, we need to take our data too and use, let's take update custom code. So as said, it's only working, or at least only been tested with custom code for action and the custom code of Adobe Analytics from the core and from Adobe Analytics. I just need to check what is required now. And you need to have the RC ID, so rule component ID, and the custom code you want to use. So the custom code could be either a JavaScript file, and that's what we're going to use, or if you want, you can directly pass a string that you can, and you can also tell which encoding you want to use. So in my case, I think it's UTF-8. I need to change that by default. Otherwise, in any way, it will create an error. But you can pass UTF-16 or depends on the encoding of your JavaScript file you want to push. So for reading the file. So I just need to check my first action. So I will take my first one. And this one is the custom code from the core. So I'm taking the ID and I say, okay. Oh, and before I'm doing that, I will actually, before I'm uploading that, I will show you that there is not this update. So now I'm taking just, it's a custom code, so the core custom code. So I'm taking this now. And before I'm doing that, let's check it out. Discard, custom code. So let's check. We'd like to restore it. No, I don't want to restore the code. I'm actually having only console, so only one line of code, and this is what I'm displaying. The same for Adobe Analytics, I think. I don't know if we showed that before, but it's console.log that test in that case. So let's now get rid of this and now update the custom code for this rule component. So I'm doing this. You see that I receive some elements and console log update Python language JavaScript has been used. And let's do the same, but this time for the Adobe Analytics code settings. So I'm going to take that. So this is where actually, yeah, the name is pretty long and it's maybe annoying, but you cannot have it all, I believe. So in that case, this is the ID I do have. And as you can see, this is the Adobe Analytics action set variables component. So I'm pushing that ID and now pushing that here. So now if I'm going to my rule and I'm checking my custom code, you can see that I have updated the code here. And as you can imagine, I have also updated the code. There is no Python Adobe update here as well. And it's been passed to this. And I think this is very powerful because now you can have a direct connection. You don't need actually anything to be added to your UI when you're working with the code. You will still need to build, save the library, save the library and build in order to have the latest, because this is not done automatically, just updating the code, so it's just a save. But I think then it's up to you. You can also do that with launchpy, and I may add either another video to show you the whole end-to-end process if you want to do that, or even doing another method. Let me know if you're interested into that to do even more in code in your local environment application and updates to Python. I hope you find this video helpful and this new method that I have provided to you helpful. Let me know in the comment below if you think so. Have a great rest of the day. Bye.